Okay guys, today we've got a bit of a different video for you here in Elden Ring. Normally we cover a lot of the how-to guides and location guides for a lot of weapons, armor sets, spells and so on and so forth. But today we're going to be talking about New Game Plus. This discussion is going to hold quite a few different subjects inside of it, such as whether you should or shouldn't do it, whether it's worth it, and also if you are going to do it, some of the things that you can do to prepare nicely for it. So with that being said, if you haven't already, smash that like button and subscribe with post notifications turned on. Also, if you'd like to check the description for our sponsors, we've got some amazing companies that are working with us just recently with some awesome offers if you want to go and check those out. With that being said, let's crack on. So New Game Plus, starting off with whether this is worth it. And I feel like this is a massively subjective view when it comes to the whole gaming scene inside of Elden Ring. This is a bit of a difficult decision and depends on what it is that you are aiming to get out of the game. With a game which is so broad and vast, the game changes all of the time. So as you complete specific storylines, it also cuts off other parts of it. With that being said, it also does mean that you guys have a lot more area to explore around the quicker you get through it. So, is New Game Plus worth it? It's quite subjective. If you guys are looking for the storylines that you have accidentally closed off via certain storyline finishes and stuff like that, then yes, 100% you want to run through for that reason. If you guys are a casual player and this is something where you get to play it maybe a couple of hours a night and it's taking you so damn long just to get through the original playthrough, I would say that New Game Plus probably is not worth your time. For me as a content creator, New Game Plus was something that I always was going to have to do, although for me, when I'm looking for content, I'm looking for weapons and looking for location guides and stuff like that, having a lot of it having to be reset and closed off is nothing but a frustration for me. New Game Plus does have a different difficulty setting when it comes to the bosses and stuff like that. Everything does get boosted up so that it can request down to your sort of player level per se, depending on what level it is that you go into New Game Plus with. But I don't feel like it scales enough to make it as much of a challenge. I actually felt like my second run through was probably 20 times easier than the original playthrough itself, and actually took me a quarter of the amount of time to be able to do that second run through. So if you think you're going to be getting anything special, any sort of differentiations or any sort of style of difference whatsoever, bar the ending and maybe some of the questline stories that you are going to do and some that you would have forgotten beforehand, then yeah, fair play, that's fair play. But for me, New Game Plus is a little bit pointless, and I really don't understand the idea of it. And this is where we're going to get quite a lot of slamming in the comment section down below, as I know a lot of you guys are on New Game Plus, and I completely understand that you guys may be the biggest and the most hardcore grinders when it comes to the Elden Ring side of things. But for me, this is one of those, does the risk outweigh the reward? And the answer to that is quite clearly no. Also, just putting it out there with the New Game Plus concept, I feel like the original playthrough with the way that the game was played was done very, very well. Although once you go into New Game Plus, I feel like there could have been some alterations to the way that the game was structured, such as maybe being able to actually play the game cooperatively and having a secluded part of the map that you could only obtain after New Game Plus, which worked as almost quote-unquote the wilderness. And if you wanted to do the PvP side of things and risk it all for the biscuit, then being able to go down to that area and closing off this consistent PvP opening anytime you're in a cooperative world. You've completed the base game, you've managed to go through everything in its main structure in the way that it was meant to be played, and now you can enjoy the game for what it is with your friends, and I feel like that was something that could have really changed up for it quite a lot as far as the game actually wasn't told. So for those of you guys who haven't grasped it already, and again, let me know in the comment section what your opinions are on it and we can get a discussion going. But for me, New Game Plus just really was not worth it. It was more of a setback and it wasn't as enjoyable the second time around. Then again, nothing that you do will ever be as enjoyable the second time around, let alone if it's just as easy, if not 10 times easier. Now, if you are still convinced about going into New Game Plus, there are a few things that you guys will want to make sure you prep yourself up with, and this is something that the game does not warn you about. When you go into New Game Plus, you will carry through quite a lot with you, but not everything. So you will be carrying things such as weapons, armor sets, talismans. You'll also have a lot of your consumable items, such as the ones that you use for crafting. All of your summons you'll still own, all of the general crafting materials you'll still have, the smithing stones and such like that, the glow verts and stuff, you will all still have all of those. all of your tiers, they will still all be obtained, as well as your magic sorceries, ashes of war, all of that good stuff will all still be there. Any of your quest items will not be there, they will all evaporate and disappear, and this again is kind of evident considering you're starting the whole game as a new. But what this does also mean is that a lot of things like bell bearings will reset, and things that you have acquired along the way via locations will also have reset. So you can get every weapon again for the second time. You can also have to go and restart all of your bell bearings to make sure that you can go to the two sisters at the round table and go and purchase all of your smithing stones as and when you get new weapons to upgrade them. You've got to redo all of that. So when you go before you go into New Game Plus, before you accept it, so before going in, what you want to make sure that you do is actually stock the hell up on your smithing stones and stock up on the glowworts and stuff like that. The reason why is so that you've actually got them all there, so while you're still collaborating everything together to get your bell bearings, you've got a massive stock up of those smithing stones and of those glowworts to be able to upgrade your summons, to be able to upgrade all of your weapons. And this is a very, very important feature. This is a very important feature, so make sure that you've got that massive build up there of runes, which you can use obviously a load of the rune farming methods before you go through to New Game Plus, of which I'll leave a link down in the description. It'll give you a couple of options, to say the least, that you guys can go and farm for your runes, and go and make sure that you purchase as many as you can of the smithing stones so that you can get those upgrades for any weapons that you may have missed. On top of that, before you go into the next New Game Plus, then you want to make sure that you have got a build that you are happy with, and if there is any items that you may need, specific individual items for a build that you may need, you are definitely going to want to attempt to get those if you can by going in with the opened map before you go into the New Game Plus. Because once you roll into that, and you've obviously got to restart the entire game, if you then need to go up to the main snow biome to collect something in about an hour's time or so, because you realised actually you need that for your build, you then have to get through the entire game again. This is a very, very good method, and I know that New Game Plus has been a popular thing for a lot of games, and it gives a lot of replayability, and I think for this style of game it works very, very well because of the way that you can play it differently every single time. But I think as an overall, if you are a bit of a completionist and you don't really miss anything, this is something which is just going to grind your gears quite a bit, and especially for content creators, this is not the most ideal situation to put yourself in after you have obviously hit a point where a weapon becomes quite a popular weapon. A weapon becomes a new trend and you can't get to it. So it is a bit of a frustration, and I think the New Game Plus is a very, very subjective on the basis of whether you like it or not. So please let me know via the comment section if you do enjoy New Game Plus, and if this has helped you out in making your mind up for doing it or not. This was been a bit of a rambling video, and I haven't done one of these for a very long time, so let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you so much again for watching, appreciate your faces, but as always, up until the next time, I'll see you in the clouds.